Welcome back to Castle Combe here in Wiltshire. It's the Motors TV live race day. We have got one more race still to come for the Castle Combe Vadabar Sports and GT Championship with, how about that for a front row, Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, which is on slick tyres, and the Juno on wet tyres in the hands of Craig Fleming alongside David Addison and Charlie Butler-Henderson trackside. Looking forward to this final race of the day, and a great day's racing we've had, Charlie.
Yes, so far so good. We've got the Mitsubishi there that we were just getting a close-up on, 680 brake horsepower from a 4x4 car. It's a great grid lineup on this championship race here. We just had a bit of a downpour, but the circuit will, I'm sure, dry out. The sun is also on its way as well, so slightly greasy circuit, which will play into the hands of the Mitsubishi.
Now there's Simon Tilling on wet tyres. Tyres are going to be critical here because the road is wet but it's drying. So tyre choice is going to be critical here, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely critical. So all the mechanics have been sent off the grid now, so we were just finding out a little bit more detail on some of the tyres, but we'll be able to tell by the lap times what tyres they're on. We've got sun coming through, blue sky coming through, being blown over the Castle Combe circuit. We've just had a bit of a downpour, so I can't wait for this race. The last race of the day is going to be an absolute corker with mixed tyres, mixed cars, prototypes and saloon cars here. We've got a real treat for the last race here.
Absolutely right, yes, 12 minutes this race will last for, and we know that on slicks is Gary Preble on pole position, on wets alongside him is Craig Fleming in the Juno. The second row of the grid, Simon Tilling, who was the winner of the first race, is on wets. Josh Smith alongside him is on slicks. There's no third row at all. Martin Baker hasn't made it to the grid. At least he's not made it out yet. He may join in late from the pit lane. There's no Doug Watson BMW either, but that was damaged as we saw in the earlier race. The cars then released now onto this warming up lap. Very important for them, of course, because now they'll find out where the traction is.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw the stonking start from the Mitsubishi from Gary Preble. So if he gets it, he's pulled off. Gary Preble's pulled off in the Mitsubishi.
Has he pulled off or spun off? Because he's gone a long way off onto the grass. I reckon that might be a spin.
Well, he's got back going again, but I just saw him wiggling his tyres a minute ago, just getting a bit of warmth into him, and it looked absolutely fine, and then all of a sudden he's vanished.
I think it's been like we saw Richard Casey have in the mini race at the start of the day. He's been weaving around. There he is, and it's broken away from him on a wet road, and he's gone all over the slippery grass. That's how we saw him out of the window here. You can't miss a big orange thing on the grass going sideways. Gary Preble now, because he didn't drop to the back, can overtake everybody and take up his pole position again, but he's now on very grubby tyres.
But he's still got quite a few to overtake, and that doesn't bode well for the guys in the rear-wheel drive cars, which is the majority of the others. If he's got a four-wheel drive and they've got a rear-wheel drive and he's gone off on the warm-up lap, they must be thinking, blimmin' this must be really slippery. So it's going to be a corker, last race.
Well, there is Gary Preble, orange car, red-faced, and working his way now back onto pole position. Craig Fleming on wets in the Juno. Has that car from fourth in race one, and he's going to be another one to watch, I think, on wet rubber. Craig Fleming could be a potential winner of this.
Well, he's going to have to be quick because he's still got to get past another four before he gets to the start-finish line, so he's going to be able to don't know whether he's going to be able to do it or not, and whether the other guys are going to block him just to say, no, you've gone off, tough.
But it's a standing start, isn't it? So he's going to be able to work his way through. I think he'll be okay, So
just.
Yes. There he is, he's got past one, but he'll be able to take up pole when they get back to the grid. As I say, it's only if everybody goes past you that you need to be concerned and start at the back, but not everybody did. And so after his off-track excursion, Gary Preble heading for pole.
And just that red BMW you can see at the back there, it's got a tax disc and it's road legal as well. That's just on the back of this grid here, which is pretty cool as well. So maybe they'll drive it home.
12 minutes, this last race of the day, this Motors TV live race day coming from Castle Combe. So, Gary Preble, four-wheel drive car, slick tyres. He's fallen off the road already on the green flag lap. Good luck, Gary, as we get ready then for the race itself. There's the 5-second board to the left of screen. Drivers now look towards that lighting gantry. 5 red lights will come on. Gary Preble does make the best start, but not stellar, given that he's on slicks. A really good start made by Norman Lackford, though, who's gone powering through. He's on wets, I would guess, and we've got contact, I'm afraid, behind the leading cars. 2 have gone off already, one being a Marlin, there it is, one being the Lotus X Siege also that's gone off the road in the hands of Stuart Dixon, sad to say. And so as the drivers tiptoe their way for the first time up towards Quarry, on wet, Craig Fleming leads the way, and Gary Preble is going backwards. So wets, I think it is fair to say, is what you need to be doing, and slick tyres is not a good thing, and that's Stuart Dixon trying to recover. We also had Josh Smith on slicks. He's dropped back looking the white radical. So they've got to hope that the road dries out sufficiently in the 12 minutes duration for those tyres to come into their own. I'm not convinced it will.
No, it would be a good move if the race was about half an hour, 20 minutes long, but it's only like literally 11 minutes left on the clock. If he romps away in the lead, that's going to be a hard one to come by.
And off has gone George Michael in the Toyota MR2, and he can't get any traction to get himself off that friction-free grass. So that's another problem that the drivers are going to face if they slither off the road. So, one-time Formula 3 racer Craig Fleming leads the way. There is Gary Preble trying to make the best out of all of this. Of course, it's a class win that concerns him, because the points are awarded to your class position, and Craig Fleming in the Juno then powering his way over the start and finish line has got the road to himself. In second place it is Simon Tilling. We know that he is on wets. Des Andrews has gone through in third, and he must be on wets therefore, and Norman Lackford is fourth, wet tyres being the way to go. Guy Parr is next through from the 5th row of the grid, and Gary Preble is 6th at the end of the opening lap of the race.
So he's definitely taken a gamble and seems to be one of the only guys on slicks at the moment, apart from Josh Smith, who seems to be doing a good job as well. So you can see some of the spray being kicked up by the prototype cars. See the grey, dark skies that we've had just pass over the circuit, which has now made it this treacherous, slippery conditions. Not much spray, so still good visibility, but it's going to be greasy, as we can see.
That BMW you can see in the background, the car that Charlie mentioned before the race started with its number plate and the tax disc, is the class opposition to Gary Preble. So Angus Gorringe trying to catch up to the orange Mitsubishi. That's the battle that Gary Preble has to try to avoid. Back into the race has come the MR2 after its lap 1 spin. Craig Fleming leading the way. He was 4 seconds up on Simon Tilling at the end of lap number 1. There is Simon in second spot. Can he do anything about bringing down this gap with now 9.5 minutes to run?
Well, I doubt it, to be honest with you, because Fleming seems to be on a right mission. 4 seconds ahead of Tilling then, and now just set the fastest lap, 1 minute 15.2, and has now gone again another 4-5 seconds quicker again. So
there goes the race leader up towards Quarry, already going for the wetter parts of the road, it seems. So Craig Fleming looking after his tyres. He's about to lap the delayed Lotus from the first lap of the race to Stuart Dixon, the Juno TR250, powering its way through the traffic. And Simon Tilling is now 4.4 seconds back. Craig Fleming, I think he's going to be hard to stop in this race as he comes now through the S's. Formula Renault racer, had a spell without a great amount of budget, which was the real problem in Formula 3, going back quite a few years. Has raced in 250cc supercars. You've got to be brave to go quickly in those as well. So certainly Craig Fleming is a quick and a brave driver. He's ideally suited to these sports prototype races. Simon Tilling there in second place, and Des Andrews was in the background in the Mega Heart, a long way back now, in a car that doesn't really find itself terribly often running in third place, and has got there now because of the right tyres. There is Gary Preble. Now where is he in relation to Angus Gorringe? He's still ahead, isn't he? But if that BMW gets much closer, Gary Preble may have to start to work for his class win here. The gap is narrowing between them. 8 minutes to go. It is conceivable here that Gary Preble may even lose the class lead.
Yeah, you've got the BMW that we're looking at now. Number plates on. It's even got the tax disc if you look at the right-hand side of the screen there. So yes, you could be seeing that car on the M4 on the way back from Castle Combe today. Yeah, and he's closing. I think the BMW is definitely closing. And I love that shape of the BMW. It does look really quite bold, quite a good stance, and a great colour as well.
Yeah, I agree. It does go well, that car. It does look the part. Now, Gary Preble, interestingly, tried to do some overtaking here against Guy Parr. Does that mean that the road is drying out a little bit and the slick tyres are starting to work? Now they've got a bit of warmth into them. Certainly the Mitsubishi now, look, is on the tail of the Vauxhall Engine Nemesis, the car built by Paul Gibson many years ago for Vauxhall Engine National Supersports Racing. Paul Gibson that built the Visions in the 1700cc front-engine Clubman's era. Nose to tail they go, up towards Quarry. Gary Preble tries the outside line, can't do it there. But the fact that he's attacking is good, and he has to attack because here comes Angus Gorringe in the BM, he throws it away! Went for the inside against Josh Smith, round he goes.
So yeah, select second gear and carry on again. He still could have a chance. 7 minutes left of the race. That was a real shame. He just got one wheel on the inside of the circuit. That upset the balance of the car. The back end came round as he put the power on and has now given our man Preble in the Mitsubishi that we're looking at now, 680 odd brake horsepower sideways out of one of the corners there, has just given him that cushion that he needed.
Yes, he just got a bit overexcited, didn't he? Put the power down too soon, snapped away. Let's have a look at this, as Gary Preble, of course, has picked up a place from Guy Parr. Goes for the inside. All self-induced, that.
Yeah, was just a little bit keen and over-enthusiastic, really. You'd think there'd be more grip slightly on the inside there, but the circuit's slightly higher than where the grass is, and it just upset the balance of the car. A real shame there for the road-taxed BMW.
Now, the other thing about this, of course, somebody off, that's George Michael again. We've seen him off already, heading for the tyres. Bang. Wet grass. The one solid thing within about a mile of that area, and he finds it. So George Michael off the road, and it's gone in at a reasonable speed, of course, on that wet, slippy grass. So the point I was going to make was that, of course, Angus Gorringe trying to recover against Gary Preble. Now finds himself against a car that is lapping quicker, so it's not going to be an easy task at all for him. So they've gone through the yellow flag zone, and the safety car has been deployed because of George Michael going off the road. Had that big lose over at Old Paddock. It's a very high-speed part of the circuit, that, Charlie, isn't it?
Yeah, I think because where he stopped, it's still in the cushion zone of where somebody else may go off as well. So the marshals are just being precautious there and saying, look, somebody else could do the same thing. Let's get this car moved. Or the driver was slightly hurt and basically said he needs some help. But I doubt it. It was only a very slight kiss to the tyre wall. But it's just the marshals have just been precautious, which is fair play to them. That's what they're there for.
And with 5 minutes of the race to go, the field will all file up behind the safety car. Yeah, of course, onto the wet grass and a high-speed corner, he wouldn't have had a chance to scrub off much speed, would he? That's the problem, I suppose. So it may have been, as you say, not the heaviest of hits, but perhaps enough to wind the driver. So the marshal's there, and we'll get George out of the car as fast as they possibly can. So there's the race leader, safety car trying to collect him. And Craig Fleming's lead, of course, will disappear. Interestingly, just before the safety car was deployed, Simon Tilling had done the best lap of the race. Now, sun shines. I'm not convinced this is going to help necessarily, but if they all bunch up and the road is a little bit dry when we get to the restart, Gary Preble might be able to make progress back up the order.
Yeah, I still think he's still quite a long way back from Fleming, our race leader. There's the driver, you can see, absolutely fine. Taking off, you've got hands device systems now that you can see him just unclipping on his helmet there that stops your neck moving further than what it actually needs to. So the hands device doing its job there, and the driver is okay. So I think it was just the car being in a bad place that they needed to move it out of the way.
So with just under 4 minutes to run of this race at Castle Combe, you can see the leaden skies that are keeping everybody on their toes. Craig Fleming then, race leader, but the safety car has not picked up him. It's picked up, it's picked up the wrong car, hasn't it? It's picked up Simon Tilling. So Simon needs to be released before he can think about getting onto the back of the leader, but he's about half a lap away. So is he being waved through now? Yes, he is. So the safety car was scrambled. Now they've got to get everybody past, but there is the leader on the other side of the circuit. So the car they need is there, 5, the leader. That has to be collected by the safety car. So irrespective of how long it takes to move this car out of harm's way, they've still got to find the correct car behind the safety car, and we've got 3 minutes of the race to go. I'm not sure we're going to get too much racing laps in at the end, are we here?
Well, no, because there's waved yellow flags, the leader, quite rightly, Fleming, doesn't want to overtake anyone to get into trouble, because he knows if the race finishes as it is, he's won, so...
But basically, the safety car's got to go slow enough to be caught by the leader.
Yeah, that's exactly right, but it doesn't seem to be going as slow as it needs to, really.
No, the safety car is at Quarry, and there you can see Craig Fleming coming down to the last corner, but I'm just fearful that we're going to run out of time before... even if that collects the leader, you've still got to get everybody else around onto the tail of the leading car. So Simon Tilling, by being collected wrongly by the safety car, has been dealt a pretty bad hand here.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 20 seconds left of this race here, being dominated by Fleming. on the wet tyres, just got a great start and just got his head down and got on with it and didn't make any mistakes and just buffeted a really big lead. So maybe he doesn't want to pass those guys. Maybe he's thinking, right, I'm going to win, so I'm going to stay where I am.
Under the yellow flags, he's not allowed to. He's got to sit there and wait to find a safety car. Simon Tilling, in the meantime, is absolutely storming on because he's trying to catch up with somebody, anybody, before the race finishes. Into the last 2 minutes. We're not, as I say, going to get too much. We might get one more racing lap, I think, at this rate. Craig Fleming is the leader here at Castle Combe.
And then you've got Tilling that's now doing his absolute utmost, flat out, and now has still got warm tyres.
Yeah.
Whereas our leader, Fleming, has been cruising literally behind some really slow back markers because of the waved yellows. Now he's starting to warm up his tyres because he's thinking, right, the lights are out of the safety car, so we're definitely going to go racing this lap. But we've got Tilling there, second place man, who's absolutely got warm tyres.
But you've got another problem, which is that when those cars are released, they are going to be very, very quickly up with the back markers who haven't been given a green flag because they've not caught the crocodiles. So you're going to have this ludicrous situation of the leaders having been released. Look, there's the traffic further up the road. They're going to be mugged within 2 corners, and they won't have had a green flag. They're not going to go any quicker.
Yeah, so this is...
It's going to be a one-lap dash, but it's going to be a rather unsatisfactory way for many of the drivers to have the race end, I think, because some are going to be at race pace and others are going to go round and see a checkered flag, having been lapped by lots of people. Anyway,
yeah,
it is what it is. What we do have for this one-lap dash up to the flag is a battle, I suppose, between Craig Fleming and Simon Tilling, who thankfully, because of the way that it's panned out, did get up there in the end and does have a chance of attacking Craig Fleming. The green flag flies, away they go. But as I say, very quickly, they're going to be into the traffic. So the leaders go through. 1.7 seconds is what Simon Tilling has got to try and make up. Can he do it? I'm not convinced he can.
Well, Tilling's on the warmer tyres, as we were talking about earlier, so
yeah,
it would be nice to see. And Tilling is actually on the charge here, so it's going to put Fleming under a bit of pressure just for this last dash to the flag for the end of the racing here at Castle Combe.
There's the lapped Jetona that goes through in the hands of Jeremy Irwin, and Simon Tilling is taking the battle to Craig Fleming, isn't he, as they come now through the S's. And as Charlie has rightly made the point, Simon's on much warmer tyres than is Craig Fleming, so that car certainly for the first couple of corners is going to be working better. Craig Fleming now into his stride. Now there is a car that hasn't been given a green flag yet and thinks, what's going on? Why are all these people storming past me? Storm past they do, but that really is Simon Tilling's chance to go through Tower Corner. He couldn't do it there, but he's going to have a look at Bobby's. He keeps on coming on the warmer rubber. Is he going to go through on the inside? He is! Amazing stuff. Simon Tilling has through, and that must be down to tyre temperature. Yeah,
definitely. You can see the confidence there, and still you can see all the drivers looking slightly confused. They've got all of the drivers are going, well, what is actually going on here? But they know the rules, and if they've read the rule book, they'll know exactly that. Checkered flags out.
The win for Simon Tilling then, a surprise winner of the last race of the day. And poor old Craig Fleming, yet another situation of a driver having dominated but not winning. So for class honours here, you've got Gary Preble just ahead of the recovered Angus Gorringe. He was helped also by that safety car period because it brought him back onto the tail of the Mitsubishi. Down they dive now towards Tower. Still think that four-wheel drive Mitsubishi Lancer Evo may have the advantage, but Angus Gorringe has not given up in the BMW, a car that he's new to this year. It's the ex-Doug Watson car. But Gary Preble looks like he's done enough to be able to hang on in there as they turn their way now out of Bobby's. Yes, he's sprinting away easily in a straight line. So Gary Preble, unless he goes off at the last corner, is going to be good for a class win. And for him, it's been a fairly trying race, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been a tough race for him. But as you can see, that four-wheel drive extra grip managed to pull him across the line. So a good move there for 5th place with Preble in the Mitsubishi.
So he takes 5th and, importantly, of course, wins his class. Therefore, he gets the points, and that's good for him for the championship. And Angus Gorringe comes home behind him in 6th spot. So a slightly confused way for the race to end. And there's the man that really can feel to be justifiably frustrated, Craig Fleming, having led the bulk of it, but his cool tyres, having gone so slowly, not being able to withstand the warmer tyres on the car of Simon Tilling. Storms by to take a win, but second's not a bad result for Craig Fleming.
Yeah, you can see the body language of Fleming there. You can see he's got a clear visor. He does not look happy at all, you know, leading the race.
Though, with this jab, Simon Tilling looking very pleased with life.
Going, thanks very much. Cleaned up, last lap, pretty much last corner for an overtaking move. Fantastic comeback.
So he will make his way down the pit lane, and Simon Tilling, a good day for him. 2 race wins, of course, here, having won the earlier race as well. And he chased Gary Preble in the opening round of the championship. And Simon Tilling, as I say, a good day for him with 2 race wins, and also good day. You can see behind him the Mega Heart of Des Andrews, not a car that often finishes in the top 3, so it's good to have that car as well, having a good result here. So down the pit lane comes Simon Tilling, the victor, and he did the fastest lap of the race, Charlie, on that very last lap of the race. Yeah,
so the circuit's obviously drying, the sun was coming out, and Fleming coming in the pits there, really shaking his head, not happy at all.
Well, there is Simon Tilling down the pit lane. There is the result. Simon Tilling the winner from Craig Fleming. The gap at the end, 7/10 of a second. Des Andrews third in the unique Mega Heart. Norman Lackford fourth ahead of the recovered Gary Preble. And after his spin, Angus Gorringe fighting back to get himself up into 6th position. So